There is something I understood only slowly. When I was younger, I spent a lot of time trying to understand everyone else, why they acted that way, why they hurt me, why they could not love better, why they became the way they were. And maybe that was necessary for a while, but later, I realized that healing does not only mean understanding other people. It also means turning back toward myself and asking, what happened to me? How did I learn to react? Where am I still stuck? There is a trap in relationships that many of us fall into without noticing. When conflict happens, we often slide into one of three roles. The first role is the critic. When I am in this role, I can see everything the other person is doing wrong. They are careless. They are selfish. They never change. They do not understand. I am the one who sees clearly. I am the one who has reasons. And the more hurt I feel, the more I want to prove that the other person is the problem. The second role is the victim. In this role, I feel trapped. I feel abandoned. I feel treated unfairly. I feel like nothing can change unless the other person finally understands, apologizes, or becomes different. So I wait. I wait for them to see me. I wait for them to change. I wait for them to make my pain lighter. The third role is the rescuer. In this role, I keep cleaning up after other people. I carry responsibilities that were never fully mine. I sacrifice past my own limits. I try to make everything okay. And quietly, I wait to be appreciated. I wait for someone to finally notice how much I have done. But when that recognition does not come, resentment begins to grow. The frightening part is, these are not always three different people. Sometimes, they are three places inside the same person. In the morning, I may become the critic. At night, I become the victim. The next day, I become the rescuer again. And the loop keeps going. It drains us, not because we are evil, and not because the other person is always evil, but because in all three roles, we may be avoiding something very difficult, taking responsibility for our own part. I remember a period in my life when I kept talking to my friends about someone close to me. Every time I told the story, I felt a little lighter. I felt understood. I felt less alone. But a few days later, there was always a new story, a new frustration, a new reason to feel hurt. And one day, a friend asked me a question that made me very quiet. You have been telling this story for a long time. So what are you doing to change the situation? I had no answer, because the truth was, I was not really doing anything. I was waiting for the other person to change so I could finally breathe easier. And that is the center of this loop. I am the one in pain, but the person who needs to change is someone else. I am the one who feels trapped, but the key is in someone else's hand. I am the one who wants peace, but I am waiting for another person to open the door. As long as I live inside that logic, I stay stuck. Not because I am weak, not because I am foolish, but because I have placed my emotional freedom in someone else's hands. I used to be a very typical rescuer. I helped beyond my limits. I cleaned up consequences that were not mine. I thought ahead for other people. I solved problems I did not create. And somewhere inside, I waited for them to understand, to appreciate me, to change. When they did not, I became the victim. I thought, why do I do so much and still not get seen? And when the resentment became too heavy, I became the critic. I began to see them as selfish, careless, ungrateful, impossible, and the loop continued until I finally realized the exit was not waiting for them to change. The exit began when I stopped taking responsibility for what was never mine. Leaving this loop does not mean you never help anyone again. It does not mean you never feel hurt. It does not mean you never feel angry or disappointed. It only means you begin to separate your part from their part. I can help within my limits, but I do not have to carry the consequences of someone else's choices. I can feel disappointed, but I do not have to use my disappointment to attack their character. I can love someone, but I do not have to live as if my happiness can only begin when they finally change. There is a question that is difficult, but important. In this story, what part truly belongs to me? Have I clearly expressed what I need? Have I set a boundary? Am I helping because I truly want to help, or because I hope it will make me more loved? Am I criticizing because the other person is wrong, or because I cannot admit how powerless I feel? Am I telling the story to find a way forward, or only to stay inside a familiar pain? These questions are uncomfortable, but they also return power to us, because real strength is not the ability to control another person. Real strength is seeing what I can do and choosing to do it, whether the other person changes or not. You are not bad for having criticized someone. You are not weak for having felt like the victim. And you are not foolish for having rescued people too many times. Maybe you were caught in an old pattern, a pattern that once helped you survive, a pattern that gave you a feeling of control, a pattern that helped you understand your pain in the only way I knew at the time. But you do not have to stay there forever. You can begin with one small shift. Stop asking, why are they still not changing? And begin asking, what can I do with the part that belongs to me? Maybe it is a more honest conversation. Maybe it is a clearer boundary. Maybe it is helping less. Maybe it is no longer telling the same story without taking one new action. Maybe it is accepting that the other person may never change, but your life still needs to be lived. When you take back your own responsibility, you do not lose love. You only stop turning love into a place where you disappear. And maybe that is when self-compassion begins. Not by blaming everyone else, but by stepping out of the old loop and giving each person back their own part to carry.